You just clicked on it.
We're going to call the meeting to order. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
There you go.
Don't let
So I
me
guess
take
you're
over.
up.
I'm up. All right, so we're gonna go through the budget book that you have on the table in front of you. So basically, we're gonna go over first the projection budget, and then we'll go over the final budget for this year. This is just the page listing all of the board members and the superintendent. And then this is the school district mission and vision statement that we have printed every year in the book. And now we're going to start talking about the projection budget. So basically, I'm sure all of you have heard, we don't have a state aid budget as of yet. So again, this year, we're, as business officials, trying to put together a budget with limited knowledge on what we're going to get and how things are going to pan out. So most of what I have put into this year's projection budget is just based on my belief of what is going to happen, or what I've heard, or what I've spoken to other business officials about and what they're using. So the basis of this budget, this is super tiny, and I apologize for that, but we're predicting that we're gonna have a $250 increase to the per pupil foundation that was presented across the board in all three branches. So my assumption is that will happen. The scary part about that is you don't know what type of categoricals that they may take away because they're giving you the $250 in a per pupil foundation. So that could impact the categoricals, but they're giving us more in the actual per pupil foundation. This year, we have not seen a decrease in pupils, and so I was not super excited about reducing pupils, but I did just to be on the safe side, so I only reduced our budget by 10 FTE. I don't think it'll be that much. I hope it's not that much based on prior. So that is what I've accounted for in this budget. And then as you'll recall with proposal A, we get a certain amount of money from the state, but they take off from what we get from the state, they take off our taxes. So what we get in taxes comes off the top of what the state gives us, and then they just make us whole, basically, for the difference. So they do that by calculating the per pupil that we have in the district. 90% of our student count comes from the fall of October, and then 10% will come from the previous February. So it's basically on a calendar year. So like this year, we're going to get 10% of how many kids we had this past February of 2026, and then we'll get 90% of what is coming in October. So all of the pupils that are counted. So it's kind of crossing fiscal years, but they do a blended count for your per pupil allocation. On the federal revenue side of the projection budget, basically, we have the estimated allocations. So I have taken the estimated allocations and plugged them into the projection budget. And then I have done a hand calculation on what will the carryover be of what we didn't spend in our federal or state grants this year. What will that look like for next year? And so I've plugged that in. Obviously, once the state aid budget is passed, those numbers could change. So it's all just kind of up in the air. However, the revenues and the expenditures match, so it's a zero effect on the bottom line of the budget. So also in the expenditure side of the projection budget, we have made all the staffing changes that we're aware of. We've included a 2% increase for all staff members across districts, as well as lane changes in steps. The retirement rate actually decreased this year because the UAAL, the unfunded accrued liability for the retirement, has gone down, and then they also removed that 3% health care that was included in that line item. So it went down slightly, but not a ton. We also included 2 new ML positions at Larson and 1 at Jefferson. So we also included 9 new instructional parapros at Larson, and we also included a student success coordinator for Larson. We have a STEM teacher at the high school. We have also hired a human resource director for this office, as well as created a human resources assistant and receptionist position that is now a full-time position in this office, which was part-time. I've included new buses in this year's budget. Those are covered by the transportation funds that we get from the state. So as long as those continue, it shouldn't be a problem. I've also included 2 copiers, one for transportation and one for this office, as well as playground equipment upgrades for Max Larson due to the equipment that is currently there not really being age appropriate. And then we've also included some parking lot renovations. I've just estimated costs. I don't have any verified costs, just estimated costs in the budget for those. We've also included a PA system upgrade at the high school and some social studies curriculum, as well as a scissor lift for maintenance in a trailer to be able to haul that. So we've also still have 2 years left to pay on the QZAB, and that will also happen this year in the amount of $550,000, and that will also come out of general fund. So with that being said, the projected fund balance will be at approximately 27% for next fiscal year. That being said, we're working on planning for different projects other than what I have mentioned, just trying to figure out throughout the district what are some major needs that we need to address and how can we address those. So that is pretty much it on the general fund side of the projection budget. Here's some graphs just to kind of show, the fund equity, and again, that's really hard to read and I apologize for that, but it's just showing that the fund equity is going up. And so we want to work on, as a board and as an administration, we want to work on what projects do we need to focus on and what things can we do. And then this graph here explains the breakdown of Proposal A and how that is calculated and formulated. And basically it's pretty much what I told you. What it does is it combines the state amount with the local tax amount to come up with what your actual per pupil amounts are going to be. And then it also shows a historical data of the previous year's increases in what we got in the per pupil allocation. So this is based on the taxable values that we received this year. We did receive a Headley rollback, which basically means that your taxable values increased quicker than the rate of inflation. So we received a Headley rollback. We will still be collecting the full 18 mills because when the levy was passed, you guys passed above an 18 mil levy. However, you're only allowed a maximum of 18 mills to levy at any given time. The only other fund that was impacted by the Headley rollback is the sinking fund, and each time that we get a Headley rollback, the sinking fund millage will roll back based on that Headley rollback. And so at this point in time, it rolled back again from 0.9515 to 0.9454. We're going to lose approximately about $8,000 in the sinking fund a year based on that rollback. But each year that you have a rollback, it does eat away at that. So you just want to be mindful of that. Again, this is our just kind of a historical data on what our count has looked like. And you can see that this year it shows that we had 2,757 pupils, and that's in the blended count. So basically, we went up from the prior year of 2,748. So we're on an upward trend on enrollments, and I think we're aware of that with the number of pupils that we've had coming in. And then again, this is just another graph showing the increase in per pupils and kind of the dip that we took there for a little bit. And then this is another good illustration of how the foundation allowance is arrived at. So when you're looking at this, this shows you that the 18 mills is coming from non-homestead commercial, and then it also has 6 mills that go to the state, which funnels through to us in the state aid. And then also it shows your homestead going in at 6 mills and coming back to us through the state aid allocation. So the revenue sources that go into the state that come to us in very small part are the sales income use tax, the cigarette and liquor excise tax, and lottery. Those are all very small parts of what the state gives us.
Michelle,
And,
I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, that's okay.
A community member asked me about the marijuana businesses in this town, and they understood that it was money was supposed to be given to the schools. So I kind of checked it out, and it's up to the city. Is that true?
That is true.
So the city's getting a lot of money, but has not shared any of that with the school.
Correct, and I'm not sure how that is mandated through the state for that tax. I don't know if you can speak on that, Paul. I don't know.
The only thing I've been told is that when all of this came to light, the city had decided to dedicate the money from the marijuana shops to improving the city parks. Yeah, so that was where the majority of that money was going.
So that's going into a Rotary.
It could be, but there are numerous parks here.
There are.
Because I did ask for it to go to the aquatic center, and I was told quickly it was going to the parks. So
Every year?
I think that's their main plan, and they'll reevaluate it every year.
Okay.
Can we call Truman?
And sick them on the city?
Do we know what Quincy does?
I don't.
It'd be interesting to know what Quincy does.
I could
with their
find out.
funds.
I
Thank
could
you.
find out, yeah.
Sorry, Michelle.
No, that's okay. That's perfectly fine. So basically this year's per pupil foundation allowance is $10,050 per pupil, and I have budgeted in the projection budget for it to be $10,300. So with that being said, these are all the major programs when I'm doing my budget that I'm looking at, and this is how we have to break them down per the state accounting rules. So basically your basic programs are going to be all of your basic stuff, like your teachers or your instructional parapros that are not grant funded. Those kind of things are going to fall under your basic programs. And then added needs is basically anything that is supplemental. So anybody that is funded by grant funds that would be, for instance, Title I interventionist, they would be recorded under an added needs program. Pupil services is going to be like your counseling, your mental health area, nurses, psychologists, anybody that's consulting. That's where all your pupil services are going to come in. Instructional staff services are basically going to be like your professional development area, curriculum coordinators, that kind of thing. General administration is going to be the superintendent and board of ed expenses, and then school administration are all of the costs associated with principals, assistant principals, school secretaries, etc. And then business services is going to be basically your accounts payable, your payroll, myself. Operations and maintenance is going to be your entire maintenance department. And then transportation is transportation. And central services, it kind of depends. There's a lot of different things that can kind of run through central services. Mainly it's going to be human resources. Sometimes technology stuff will run through central services. Other support services are going to be your athletic expenses. And then community services are typically where we're going to account for services that we provide to, say, St. Charles or other community things, sometimes parent liaisons when we're doing parent nights or something like that. Your parent liaisons will be included in there. And then your outgoing transfers are going to be any transfers that we do from general fund into the food service program, the kids club program, any of those types of transfers between funds will be recorded in that outgoing transfers category. So with that being said, we can kind of take a look at the 25-26 budgets, and then when we get to the 26-27 budgets, we'll briefly go over the food service, child care debt, and sinking fund. But basically for the general fund final budget, we have on revenues, we had a large decrease, and most of that was in local tax revenue. Some of it was in decreases in federal and state revenue due to grant money that we didn't spend, so we can't account for it until we spend it. The expenditures were also a large decrease, one, basically because I have to make the revenue match the expenditures. And then also because we had several projects that we had budgeted for that we were not able to finish, one being the buses that I had to move into next fiscal year because they weren't going to be here in time, and then parking lot renovations that we had to move into next fiscal year because we were not able to get those completed this year. So obviously that increased our fund equity by quite a bit. 38.6% is where we're at, and so we're going to start looking at, obviously I said we're ending next year at 27, but we're going to start looking at more projects to be coming out of general fund. The food service fund, we have revenues which have decreased, and that was basically some local stuff, and then we had some increase in state revenues, and then we also had a decrease in the federal reimbursement as well. And then on the expenditure side, we had a decrease in expenses, we had a decrease in staffing for lunchroom supervision, and then the main decrease was we had a spend down plan in place for equipment, and we decided to go with additional staffing instead, so we're going to be asking for an extension on that spend down plan through the state by the end of this year. So the projected fund balance in food service is $1,040,685, basically meaning that we're going to need to have a spend down plan in place. So by me asking for the extension, we will already eat up that portion of the spend down plan that we would need for next year. Preschool and daycare fund basically is mainly just whatever we bring in. That has decreased approximately $36,000. So basically some of that is due to not having the preschool program in a paid local fund, but it is being funded through GSRP, through BISD. So those grants cover most of the expenses for the preschool. The expenditures also just decreased slightly, and that was mainly just to match the spending amount that we're going to receive. The district did contribute approximately $40,000 towards operations of the program, and that's basically just for cash flow needs, and then that projected fund balance is $7,668. The debt service fund. The debt service fund basically, again, is just local taxes that are coming in to pay back the bond. So basically this is a tax in and payment out kind of account, and we are sitting with $5,903,311 in fund balance to continue paying down the bonds. On the sinking fund, we had an increase of revenues in that category, local taxable values, and expenditures decreased because projects that we were intending to do, such as the bus loop at Jefferson, got moved out of there because we did not get that completed by June 30th. We can't account for projects if they don't finish by June 30th. So basically the projects that we were able to complete out of the sinking fund this year were replacing the hot water heater at Larson, architect work for the bus loop, and we replaced the boiler room door at Lincoln, as well as doing some asbestos abatement in LEG and CHS. We also replaced the rooftop AC unit at CHS in the server room to make sure that the servers were not overheating. So basically we have a projected fund balance of $3,712,999 for us to accomplish some projects. The activity fund, again, is a student activity fund, student-driven. So basically, anything that the kids raise goes into this account, and then anything that they spend for prom or homecoming or anything like that also comes out of this. So the projected fund balance in the activity fund is $353,814, and that just kind of just keeps rolling as the new classes come in. So that's pretty much it on the 25-26 final budgets.
Can I ask a quick question?
Absolutely can.
The boiler room door at Lincoln,
Mhm.
was it the external boiler room door?
Mhm.
Did we do that at the beginning of last year? Because-
It was in July or August,
I
I believe
remember.
that we did that. So,
Good, needed.
and then we'll roll into the projection budgets. And we've already pretty much touched everything on the general fund budget for that. So we'll go into the food service fund. So as I mentioned, we're probably gonna have a spend down, but once I ask for the extension and we propose the changes that we're gonna make, we should be fine to cover that. And just so you're aware, you're only allowed to hold in your food service fund equity an average of 3 months of expenditures. That's why they call it a spend down plan. If you have more than that, they will make you spend it down, or they will begin taking money back from you. So basically with this, they have plenty of fund equity to cover what is needed. I have included increases in food cost. I've included increases in staffing. So basically this is pretty much a standard budget for them. I've also included a $40,000 transfer to general fund for indirect costs, which basically covers anything that you can't bill directly to food service. So, and then on the preschool budget, again, we raised the tuition for the preschool, but we're also now getting GSRP funds, which means people are not paying for the preschool, but we're getting funds through BISD to operate the preschool. So all of that is included there, and I have again included a $40,000 transfer from general fund just for cash flow purposes. So hopefully that fund should start to sustain itself or break even soon. But we are looking at a projected fund balance of $16,214. It will not be that high because I won't transfer as much general fund if I don't need it. So
So with the preschool, we're collaborating with the ISD. And so I'm assuming that those kids are also inclusion with the Head Start program. Because but the Head Start is 3 through 5.
Ours is
GSRP is only 4.
yes.
So, okay.
So our program is only the 4-year-old program. It's still our program. We're still operating it, but we're getting the funds through them.
Right.
And there are certain standards that we have to meet, being through GSRP, as you know.
Right.
But yeah, so we're working closely with them and making sure we're aligning all of that stuff and making sure that we're on track with where we need to be.
Okay,
Okay?
good idea.
And then again, the debt service fund, this is again just showing tax revenues coming in and the payments coming out, and we'll still have plenty of funds in there to carry on with making the payments in the future. And then we have the sinking fund, and on the sinking fund, we have plans in there to look at repairing roofs throughout the district, completing the bus loop at Jefferson, and then hopefully getting a parking lot done in some way, shape, or form at the bus garage on Treat Street. So again, I don't have exact costs on how much that is going to cost. I've just done rough estimates on what I think it could be. It could be more, it could be less. We have plenty of time to amend the budgets to make sure that we align with what it needs to be. And we still have, even with all of those projects plugged in, we still have plenty of money. We have $1,651,000 still in there for other projects that we may deem necessary throughout the district. And then finally, the student activity fund. Basically with this fund, I just take the end of year budget and roll it over and remove the old classes that are gone and put in some for the new classes and pretty much let it be where it's gonna be. And this is showing we'll have a projected fund equity of $319,514. So in total, that is all of it. Does anybody have any questions?
Michelle, did I read somewhere that insurance is going to go up 13%?
Yes, sorry, I missed that. So yes, insurance, it has been, I'm not saying it will. I can tell you that last year they told us it was going to be in the double digits, but they couldn't tell us what. And so this year I kind of planned on the same thing. What that means is even though it's a 13% increase, the district will pay 10% of that 13% increase because we're an 80-20 district, so we pay 80% of the health insurance costs. So basically, we will pay 10% if it is that much. I don't know if it will be that much. I know with the health insurance trends the way they are, it could very well be that much. I don't know. Last year, I think it was only ended up being like, what, 8% or something total?
And we don't know until.
Right, we won't know until typically their new rates will come out in November for a January 1 effective date, because our plan year runs January 1 to December 30. So that's when our new rates take effect.
But every year it's a guessing game with insurance.
It is. Any other questions?
I'd like to know how much money the West Bloomfield, Birmingham, Grosse Pointe districts are getting for a foundational line.
For a foundation. So some of those, depending on their tax value, so that's the interesting part about Proposal A. If their tax value amount, the amount that they're receiving in local taxes, exceeds the amount that you're allowed to get in state aid, they get no state aid. They get the categoricals, but they would get no state aid. They would only get their local income tax from the tax base.
But they also had the opportunity to go for additional operational costs. And a couple of years ago, Birmingham was getting over 12,000 a kid, where schools across the state were getting $8,000 to $9,000 a student.
New Buffalo's the same way.
Right. I think it's just, it depends on what your tax base is, really how much you get.
Chicago people, yeah.
Yeah.
So.
When they passed Proposal A, they said they were going to try to get those districts in
Right.
some equitable level, and they have never gotten there.
I agree.
And, so Bronson, went from 4,000 to 7
Correct.
when Proposal A was passed. And then we sort of wandered around 7,000 for several years. But now we're up to 10. But at that time, I think they were still getting 12 or 13,000 a student. And I just, you think they're still getting that?
Right.
So we haven't actually closed the gap.
No.
Okay.
Alright.
Any other questions?
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Michelle.
You guys have got 2 minutes.
Are you going to say the same thing to Michelle that you say to everybody? You're more than welcome to stay. Or we just gonna?
They all want to be here.
I know they do.
Okay. I mean, I can tell by looking at their faces.
Yeah.
Mr. Dancer, I mean, he's probably the most excited about being here.
Nobody else needs this, right? Can I turn this off? Does anybody else need this here? Okay.
There's a shocking lack of principals that have shown any interest in my school board, but I guess it's okay.
They're officially on their vacation time.
Don't be sticking up for them.
Contract.
I was telling you, I don't know what the budget is on the heat, but we could maybe save some money there. It's a little warm in here today.
We're going to call the regular meeting to order. We need a roll call.
Member Steele.
Here.
Member Lionel. Here. Member Frederick. Here. Member Billsborough.
Here.
Member Holbrook.
Here.
Member Dean. Here. Member Lake.
Here. Next, we have a request for public participation forums. I don't see any. Approval of the minutes from May 19th of 2026. Is there a motion?
There is a correction to the minutes on page 2. It originally said President Lake called for communications. It's been corrected to read Vice President Holbrook called for communications. So that's the only change in the minutes.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Support.
Any discussion?
Good discussion.
Yeah. I called in. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I guess I'm gonna die here. Motion passes. Next, we'll have the approval of any agenda or deletions. Are there? Just the personnel report?
The personnel recommendations are added.
Next, we have the consent agenda, communications. None? Personnel recommendations.
Okay. Under personnel recommendations, under relative to certified staff, the Board of Education approved the administrative recommendation to employ Hannah Glasgow for the first grade teacher position at Max Larson Elementary effective August 18, 2026, pending successful background check. The Board of Education approved the administrative recommendation to employ Jill Richards for the math interventionist position at Max Larson Elementary effective August 18, 2026. Board of Education accept the resignation of Brianna Horn from the Young Fives teacher position at Max Larson Elementary effective June 30, 2026. The Board of Education accept the rescinded resignation of Reagan Price from the kindergarten teacher position at Max Larson Elementary effective immediately. The Board of Education approved the administrative recommendation to employ Hannah Henderson for the second grade teacher position at Jefferson Elementary effective August 18, 2026, pending successful background check. The Board of Education approved the administrative recommendation to employ Jonna Cross for the fifth grade teacher position at Lakeland Elementary effective August 18, 2026, pending successful background check. The Board of Education approved the administrative recommendation to employ Kate Armstrong for the Human Resource Director position at Coldwater Community Schools effective July 1, 2026. Board of Education approved the administrative recommendation to employ Kylie Padu for the social worker position at Max Larson Elementary effective August 18, 2026, pending successful background check. Relative to support staff, the Board of Education approved the administrative recommendation to employ Robbie Senish for the supervisor position at Max Larson Elementary effective immediately. The Board of Education approved the recommendation to employ Lynette Norton as a summer school paraprofessional at Lakeland Elementary effective immediately. The Board of Education accept the resignation of Kajia Al-Jabli from the ML paraprofessional position at Jefferson Elementary effective May 29, 2026. The Board of Education accept the resignation of Raheel Nasser from the supervisor position at Lakeland Elementary effective immediately. The Board of Education accept the resignation of Dee Blair from the part-time sub-paraprofessional position at Max Larson Elementary effective January 30, 2026. The Board of Education accept the resignation of Bruges Al-Hib from the paraprofessional position at Max Larson Elementary effective May 18, 2026. The Board of Education approved the administrative recommendation to employ Alicia Pothoff for the paraprofessional supervisor position at Max Larson Elementary effective August 18, 2026. Board of Education approved the administrative recommendation to employ Sahar Al-Hag for the sub-supervisor position at Max Larson Elementary effective August 18, 2026, pending successful background check. The Board of Education accept the administrative recommendation to employ Nicole Reyes for the ML paraprofessional position at Jefferson Elementary, effective August 18, 2026, pending successful background check. The Board of Education accepts the resignation of Iman Chavain from the supervisor position at Lakeland Elementary, effective immediately. Relative to extra duty staff recommendations, the Board of Education accepts the resignation of Rory Woodward from the 8th grade volleyball coaching position at Lake Middle School, effective immediately. The Board of Education accepts the resignation of John Rucker from the CHS Marching Band Percussion Instructor Schedule C position, effective immediately. And the Board of Education approved the administrative recommendation to employ Abigail Lloyd as the CHS Marching Band Percussion Instructor Schedule C position, effective July 1, 2026, pending successful background check. The Board of Education accepts the resignation of Danielle Kelly from the girls varsity track and field head coach position, effective June 2nd, 2026. And the Board of Education approved the administrative recommendation to employ Rachel Horde for the robotics coach position at Lakeland beginning the 26-27 school year.
Thank you very much. Next, we have acceptance and approval of,
Who's the Alicia, John Laws, Pothoof?
Oh, I thought I got that one.
He didn't.
I missed part of the name. I went right to Paco.
That's what I have.
Yeah.
So we had 7 employees between Max Larson and Jefferson and Lakeland resign
Yeah,
this
that's
year.
mostly supervisor positions, correct. Yep.
What do you think of that?
Some are moving away,
Okay.
for the most part. Some have found better paying positions.
Okay. I know it's hard. It's a hard job.
next we have acceptance and approval of gifts via member Billsboro.
Recently, the administration was made aware of the following gifts offered by Century Bank and Trust. Monetary funds of $300 to the Coldwater High School track and field program. Recognition and approval for acceptance of the gifts are being sought. The gracious and continued support of Century Bank and Trust is sincerely appreciated. We ask that the board accept the gifts noted and acknowledge the donor's generosity. Be it resolved that the Board of Education gratefully accepts the gifts as presented, and be it further resolved that a letter of appreciation on behalf of the board be sent to the donors indicated above for their worthwhile and generous gifts.
Thank you. Next, we have approval of May accounts for payment and financial statements as submitted. Dr. Frederick.
Be it resolved that the following accounts for May be approved for payment as follows. General fund accounts in the amount of $2,386,725.10. Special revenue accounts in the amount of $269,771.40. And be it resolved that the general fund financial statements be approved as presented.
Thank you. That's the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Support.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Discussion items? None? Building reports. Nobody here to add. I am curious, Mr. Dancer, about this 14-page Max Larson reading proficiency report that was extensive pages. Can you make sort of concise statement about what it says?
So early this year, at an elementary level, we've really started to focus on our foundational reading skills, getting back to phonics, phonemic awareness. Most of the report is going to be about those foundational skills, which is traditionally a K2 skill level. We have many of our 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders, unfortunately, that through Tier 2 and 3 instruction are still working on those skills. You may remember that the board approved HMH into reading, which was a state approved literacy curriculum. that's kind of getting all schools to focus on those foundational reading skills. So the report kind of shows an emphasis on those foundational reading skills. We'll continue to track that student data and plan for instruction.
And to add, I think you'll find in that report as well, how the focus on our multilingual learners has really improved. And, you know, I give Becky Heaton and all of her efforts a lot of credit for working with the building administration and the building teachers to really focus on helping out that population of student as best we can.
What's the percentage of third graders that can read?
Depends what data source you're looking at. I mean, if you're looking at MSTEP, if you're looking at local data, it really depends on which data piece you're gonna look at.
What
Which
does
one
the
do you like?
EDA say? Sorry, Ed.
I think a more accurate reflection would be some of our local data, because with the state assessment, some of our kids don't have the stamina to take some of those tests, so they start to just, I hate to say this, but start to disengage and click a little bit on their computer, where if a teacher is right with them and able to kind of redirect their focus, then you're going to get more accurate results on what the students are capable of.
Thank you. Do you have anything to add to your curriculum and instruction report?
Just appreciate the building administration and teacher leaders. They've really focused on their instructional model. Next year, the focus will be around effective instruction in every classroom. So they've identified strategies that are going to be their go-to moves that they'll continue to work on through job-embedded professional development.
Next, we have the athletics year-end report. We're not going to get that.
I believe it's included in the packet.
Okay,
But Mr. Farmer
you're right, it was.
wasn't able to be here for questions.
Next, we have board committee reports. Dr. Frederick, the finance committee.
Yeah, so the Finance Committee met June 17th. We discussed the final budget amendments and then the proposed budget, as Michelle just went over. Talked about contract adjustments for bus drivers, CESPA, and then individual contracts. Discussed procurement adjustment from $5,000 to $10,000 for board, that would require board approval. And then give an update on the preschool fund. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, thank you. Next, we have the superintendent's report.
Just a few new things. We have a new school resource officer, Coldwater City Police Officer Brianna Hyde will be taking the position that was vacated by Noah. She is a 2016 graduate of Coldwater Schools, did her criminal justice program through the Career Center, did her on-the-job training, doing ride-alongs with Coldwater Police. She came in and I met with her today. So right out of high school, she went to the academy, and then her first job was at Jonesville, and then she went to Marshall, and is very happy to be coming here to be our school resource officer. We're unsure what building she's going to be placed at initially, because since Officer Azakari is still here and has a little bit of seniority as a school resource officer, Chief Scheid and I agreed that it would be best to let Officer Azakari choose which building she'd like to be primary in for this year, and let Officer Hyde take the other building. But I think either the middle school or the high school, she's going to be surrounded by really good staff that will help her out. So she's very excited to be here and happy to be, as she said, giving back to the Coldwater school community. As Rochelle talked about a bit before in her presentation, we are looking at various projects. Work on the new lane for the bus loop at Jefferson should be completed in early August. The company is getting the bids out and such, and we should have much more information for you in the upcoming weeks. But we're hoping that it gets done. I believe the deadline was August 9th. And then looking at work on the air unit at the aquatic center. I believe that's still on schedule for this summer. As Rochelle discussed earlier, playground equipment at Max Larson. We had a number of injuries this year because some of the equipment is not necessarily age appropriate. So we're looking at that. We met with the playground company guy last week and have a couple of ideas there that we'll bring to you hopefully at our next board meeting. And really taking a good look at the transportation facility on Treat Street. You know, we've discussed before, we've got the property, there was a plan before I was hired here, and we need to move forward with that. You know, people are asking, what are we doing to upkeep our buildings and upkeep our facilities, and we need to show them what we are going to do and what it's going to take to do that. And then in staffing, we still have a couple of positions available. We haven't seen much in the way of people leaving us. We had 4 retirements, and then I got word from Holly Muckle today that we are still short 1 bus driver, but we have 1 in training currently, so she's confident we'll be fully staffed with drivers by the beginning of the school year. So, a lot of stuff going on. A lot of good stuff.
What kind of work did Ms. Hyde do in those other areas? Police work
Yeah,
or school work?
Nope. She was a road officer.
Okay.
And so,
Let's see, next we have the action items. The first one is the recommendation to approve the 2025 amendments to the 2025-2026 budgets. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Support.
Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Member Lyon Welch?
Yes.
Member Frederick?
Yes.
Member Billsborough?
Yes.
Member Holbrook?
Yes.
Member Steele?
Yes.
Member Dean?
Yes.
Member Lake?
Yes. Motion passes. Next we have the recommendation to adopt the 2026-27 budgets. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Support.
Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Member Frederick?
Yes.
Member Billsborough?
Yes.
Member Dean?
Yes.
Member Holbrook?
Yes.
Member Lyon Welch?
Yes.
Member Steele?
Yes.
Member Lake?
Yes, motion passes. Next, we have the recommendation to amend spending authorization threshold from $5,000 to $10,000. Be it resolved, the board hereby increases the amount that may be approved and expended administratively without prior board approval from $5,000 to $10,000. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Support.
Any discussion?
Could I have more explanation about that?
Michelle can explain it better.
So the state is going to move the capitalization threshold to 10,000 for next year. So what that means is basically your capitalization is your fixed assets. So they're saying instead of having to keep track of your fixed assets at $5,000, we're going to move that to $10,000. Historically, most districts have set their limits of what has to be board approved as the capitalization threshold, because that's what's going to get put on your books as being your property, your equipment that you have to keep track of. So that was the main reason. And with inflation, everything's going up. So you're not going to have many things that are going to be under $5,000 anymore, even small things. So that's the main justification behind it.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next, we have the board approval for the tax rate request. Prior to the regular board meeting, the Board of Education, a public hearing regarding the school district's 2026-27 budgets was held. The subject of the hearing was the property tax millage rate proposed to be levied to support the budget as presented. Be it resolved, the Board of Education approves the filing of the 2026 tax rate request with Branch County Clerk, Equalization Board, and the City and Township Clerks. Be it further resolved, the President and Secretary of the Board of Education be authorized to sign the Form L-4029 on behalf of the Board of Education. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Support.
Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Member Steele?
Yes.
Member Lyon Welch?
Yes.
Member Frederick? Yes. Member Billsborough?
Yes.
Member Holbrook?
Yes.
Member Dean?
Yes.
Member Lake?
Yes, motion passes. Next, we have the request to approve the payment of replacement pump at Max Larson Elementary. Be it resolved, the Board of Education approve the payment of a recirculating pump at Max Larson Elementary in the total of $5,767.42 as presented. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Support.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next, we have the request to approve the invoice from Education Advanced Incorporated for the renewal of the district's evaluation tool for certified and non-certified staff. Be it resolved that the Board of Education approve the invoice from Education Advanced Incorporated for $5,002 for the renewal of the district's evaluation tool for certified and non-certified staff. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Support.
Any discussion? So this is not actually evaluating them, we're just keeping track of them.
Right, so when principals evaluate teachers, part of the evaluation process is numerous classroom observations. And they go back and they put their observations in the tool, and then the teacher can go back and have a communication with that, answer any questions or however it be. And then the formal evaluation, the principals put in the data and it generates the overall effectiveness. But it's a more, it's a better way of keeping everybody on the same page other than the old paper and pencil type of evaluation.
And it's available to the teaching staff?
Yes.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Do they not have a stages like we have for?
This was formerly known as stages.
Okay, thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next, we have the recommendation to approve the district participation in schools of choice, 105, 105C for the 26-27 school year. Be it resolved that the Board of Education approve the recommendation to approve the district participation in the schools of choice, 105/105C for 2026-2027 school year as presented. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Support.
Any discussion?
Does this cost anything?
No.
No?
It just says that we'll,
Cost other districts.
yeah,
That will just participate in the Schools of Choice program.
It's a benefit to us, because everybody comes to us. My question is, what is 105, 105C?
I
Is
believe
that just the law?
105
No legislation.
Contiguous districts,
Yeah.
meaning basically you will allow people from other counties to.
what's 105C3? Which one is the special ed one? I can't remember.
I know the 105C used to be, and they might have changed it, but it used to be just like a branch county thing.
Other way around. 105 is branch, 105C is the contiguous county.
Contiguous.
So,
But there was a separate one that used to only be for Branch County, and I don't remember what that one was.
It was like well before 2015, 16.
Right.
Because that's when we initially adopted the schools of
Okay,
choice.
that's what I thought.
Okay.
Okay.
At that time, it was a grandfathered agreement between Bronson and Coldwater. And then in 15, 16, we initially adopted the school of choice 105 and 105C.
okay.
So as Julie said, the 105C is contiguous counties, county lines.
And going across to intermediate school districts?
So like if, let's say somebody in
With
Union
special
City
needs.
School District, there would have to be an agreement between counties or between Coldwater Community Schools, our ISD and their ISD as far as who pays.
Who pays for it?
Yeah, you have to do a cost agreement.
Yeah.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next, we have the request to approve the purchase of instructional resources for the 2026-2027 school year. Be it resolved that the Board of Education approves the purchase of implementation of supplemental instructional resources using Title I and Section 31A grant funds in the amount of $29,500 as presented. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Support.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes. Next we have the request to approve the cooperative service agreement with Calhoun Intermediate School District using Title II, Title and Section 31A funds. Be it resolved that the Board of Education approve the grant-funded cooperative service agreement with Calhoun Intermediate School District as presented. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Support.
Any discussion?
Specifically, what is cooperative service? That's a pretty general term. So can you,
So it's
Thank you.
basically instructional coaching support as they
Okay.
provided last year. Ken Fox does a lot with math at the K-3 level, specifically around number sense and things like that. And explicit instruction was brought in K-8 last year with 2 different instructional coaches supporting that.
thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next, we have the request to approve the Edmentum Exact Path and Study Island licenses. Be it resolved, the Board of Education approve the Edmentum Exact Path and Study Island licenses for 2026-2027 school year, not to exceed $15,314 as presented. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Support.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Gary, hang on. Gary, do you have any explanation
Yeah,
about?
so last year they piloted IXL, which is the one that
Yes,
was approved
yeah.
previously. This will line up with the high school, so it'll be 412 science social studies, because Edmentum we approved earlier in the year for next year, which
Okay.
they have switched forward,
Thank
so
you.
it's a more continuous.
And it's supplemental software.
It
It's not
is,
taking the
yes.
place of primary
All
instruction.
grant approved things are going to be supplemental beyond tier 1 instruction.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next, we have the request to approve the HMH Coachly support for 1-year HMH implementation. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the purchase and implementation of HMH Coachly into Reading Version 3 to support Year 1 implementation of HMA into Reading Access across elementary grade levels. Be it resolved that the Board of Education approve the purchase and implementation of HMH Coachly in the amount of $15,000 contingent upon approval and availability of Title II federal grant funds. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Support.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Did we skip one?
Yeah, we skipped one.
Where?
Tenure.
Recreation teacher tenure.
You can't, we're not giving tenure to anybody. Where the heck?
It's not on schedule.
There it is. Recognition of teacher tenure. Following teachers have completed their probationary period with Coldwater Community Schools and are eligible for tenure as of June 30th of 2026. Angela Booth, Max Larson, elementary is Angela Booth, Alexis Barrera Garcia, Katie Frias, Lakeland Elementary, Olivia Cumberworth, Sarah Green, Lake Middle School, Jacob Simmons, Brandon Smith, Erica Towers, Coldwater High School, Kaylin Moore, Chelsea Wilbur. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Support.
Any discussion?
Is that 5 years that they?
Yeah. Unless they've had tenure in another district, then it's 2 years of probation unless the board chooses to waive it. And new teachers are 5 years.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, Jeff. Now I can't remember where we are with the Edmentum thing, or the HMA.
That's where we're at.
Did we have a vote?
Yeah, we're
Oh, we
good
did.
with
Next, we have the request to approve district-wide professional development advisory committee. Did you leave any teachers off this committee? That's good. Did you leave any teachers off? I mean,
Those are the building leadership teams, and because it allows us to use a professional development for some instructional time, that's the way of making sure you have teacher input.
I'm not gonna read them all. Be it resolved that the Board of Education approve the district-wide professional development advisory committee as presented. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Support.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next, we have the recommendation to approve the access control upgrade at Lake Middle School using Title 31 AA funds. Be it resolved that the Board of Education approve the access control upgrade to Lake Middle School from Town and Country Group in the amount of $15,267 using Title 31 AA funds as presented. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Support.
Any discussion? And my question today was, do the other schools have it? And you said they all have it,
Yes.
except this one.
We're just upgrading the middle school and adding a couple of access points to different doors, exterior doors.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next, we have a request to approve the purchase of pre-wired charging carts pending Title V grant funding. Be resolved that the Board of Education approve the purchase of 45 Vivacity Tech 30-unit pre-wired charging carts from Vivacity Tech PBC in the amount of $62,955, contingent upon the approval and receipt of the 2026-2027 Grant 5 funding. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Support.
Any discussion?
This is all by grants?
Yes, and this is part of our effort to go more low-tech. We found that much of the damage to Chromebooks is when students take them home. And so this way of incorporating charging carts in the classrooms, students will be asked to leave their Chromebooks at school overnight. Homework will be done a low-tech way, and hopefully reducing the amount of damage or needed replacement of the Chromebooks.
And the low-tech way is?
Paper and pencil.
That's going to be really strange
Yeah.
to anybody in our district.
And
I'm
I
not
know.
for, I mean, I'm all for low-tech.
And there's a lot more articles out now about the study of how students retain more when they actually physically write it
Yeah.
on paper.
And when they're on
So-
Chromebook, they
Yeah.
lose their thinking skills.
Right, right.
That's
So,
been proven.
But it's kind of double time for the teachers, though, isn't it? Because they have to input the work into Google Classroom, but then they also have to arrange for copies and print.
well, and it depends on the teacher, I think, as well. You know, you're talking to an old English teacher who used to grade 150 essays a day, you know? So, but when we're looking at, if we were looking at replacement charges this year, it could have exceeded $300,000 in replacement costs for damaged Chromebooks. So we're looking at anything we can do to reduce that number.
Wow. Can they do their homework on their own computer at home? Now, I'd love for them
I'm
to
sure
use
they
their
can.
brain with
Yeah,
pencil
so
and
they
paper.
have, if they have Google, they can access Google
Okay.
Classroom.
If it were my class, no.
I know,
They'd have- I'd give them a notebook and a pencil.
Not till fourth grade.
It's like a-
That's not gonna happen.
Yeah,
So this will reduce the damage to the kids too.
we're hoping so.
They
Yeah,
don't get to use the Chromebooks.
they have to think.
Perfect. Let's take them away altogether, and then we won't have to spend
I'm
the
all for that.
$62,000. It's a roll call vote.
Member Frederick?
Yes.
Member Billsborough?
Yes.
Member Dean?
Yes.
Member Holbrook?
Yes.
Member Lyon Welch?
Yes.
Member Steele?
Yes.
Member Lake?
Yes, motion is approved. Request to approve proposed updates and changes to the Coldwater High School handbook. Coldwater High School Dr. Stephen Hope and Assistant Principal Brian Shirk are requesting board approval of the updates and changes to the Coldwater High School handbook. Be resolved, the Board of Education approve the updates and changes to the Coldwater High School the handbook for 2026-2027 year. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Support.
Any discussion? Are there any major changes to anything?
There were, it was just cleaning some things up with scheduling courses and some clarification items under student discipline,
Okay.
but nothing major.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion passes. Next we have, let me get there. Request to approve proposed updates and changes to the Lake Middle School handbook. Be it resolved that the Board of Education approve the updates and changes for the Lake Middle School handbook for the 2026-2027 school year as presented. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Support.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next, we have the request to approve proposed updates and changes to the Coldwater Community Schools Elementary Handbook. Be it resolved that the Board of Education approve the updates and changes to the Coldwater Community Schools Elementary Handbook for the 2026-2027 school year as presented. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Support.
Any discussion?
That's a lot of changes.
Especially with the upper elementaries, they wanted to make sure that they did away with any gray areas and made some of the items more concrete, especially in the area of student drop-off and pickup, where they've been having some issues.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next, we have the request to approve the keynote speaker, David Garcia, for the opening day breakfast. Be it resolved, the Board of Education approve the keynote speaker, David Garcia, as presented. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Support.
Any discussion?
And what's the cost on this?
$10,000.
Yeah.
And
And I checked, and that's the going rate across the United States for
This was,
a company speaker.
every year we survey the staff about how we can improve our welcome back. In the past, we've always given gifts back to the teachers as they come, and we've heard we really don't need gifts, but we would really like a main speaker. As much as they say they liked listening to me last year, they did ask if they could have somebody else. And so David Garcia is highly recommended. Mr. Dancer, you've seen him at a conference before, I believe.
Yes, he's
Very motivational.
Yep, he was underprivileged youth that became a teacher, has 8 degrees. He's also a comedian, so he'll be super engaging. Really sends the message how teachers are the difference makers in child's lives.
So this pays for his flight here and
They'll pay for all
travel and meals.
all of his
His
needs.
lodging.
Yep.
And 90 minutes? The
It is
presentation,
a
I think?
75-minute keynote
Okay,
with some time with the admin afterwards.
okay.
and you say this is standard for the speaker?
Yeah, I know.
Although we heard another school district got picked up Tom Izzo for this year, so I'm a little jealous now. We might have to widen our scope for
What's
next
his
year.
charge?
I don't
He
know.
thinks enough money right now.
Maybe he could donate his time.
Well, and I mentioned to you that there was a school that had Conan O'Brien too,
Yeah,
at graduation.
yeah.
So maybe we could think about that.
These guys
Noted.
Charge more than $10,000.
are making a lot of money.
Well, that graduation was Harvard, and Conan O'Brien did go to Harvard.
Okay, so he probably,
Oh, no, I bet he got
he got
paid.
paid.
He got paid.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Abstain.
Motion passes. Next, the recommendation to approve the student athletic photography services provided by Focus and Frame. Be it resolved that the Board of Education approves to receive photography services provided by Focus and Frame for the 2026-2027 school year as presented. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Support.
Do we bid this out, or do we just
Because it's a
get the same
service.
people, or,
Yeah.
you know, there's nobody local that
Yeah. There
we
are.
like?
Well, he's local, isn't he? Marshall, that's fairly local.
This is who we've always used, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it was Prater prior to being Focus and Frame, and the administrative team.
Yeah, but before that, we had the guy in Chicago and,
That
We
that
have
was-
light touch.
Yeah, that was
Emily
like
Geskus,
bid out.
he's kind of
Yeah.
local.
Yeah, but the administrative team's been happy for years with them, and their prices are really reasonable, so that's why they've, up until this point tonight, have approved him in the past.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next, recommendation to approve to grant wage increase to all individual contracts for the 2026-2027 school year. Be it resolved that the Board of Education approves the same 2% wage increase for the 2026-2027 school year for all maintenance, central office support staff, and administrators, with the exception of bus drivers and monitors, who will receive a $1 per hour increase for each step as presented. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Support.
Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Member Frederick.
Yes.
Member Billsborough.
Yes.
Member Dean.
Yes.
Member Holbrook.
Yes.
Member Lyon Welch.
Yes.
Member Steele.
Yes.
Member Lake.
Yes, motion passes. Next, we have the request to approve the design and quote from TMS for graphic wrap on 2 new district vans. Be it resolved that the Board of Education approve the design and the quote of $5,853.04 from TMS for the graphic wrap on 2 district vans as presented. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Support.
Any discussion?
Assuming it just says Coldwater Schools or Head Cardinal or.
It'll be the same as the other vans,
Okay.
yes. Or very similar. That's what we asked for.
Can we have a picture next time?
Sure.
Thank you. So I can see what the wrap's gonna look like.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next, we have the request to approve the invoices from SETSEG for property casualty insurance renewal and workers' compensation renewal. Be resolved, the Board of Education approves the invoice from SETSEG for the district renewal of general liability, educators' legal liability, property, building risk, auto physical damage, equipment breakdown coverages for $251,826. Be it further resolved that the Board of Education approves the invoice from SETSEG for the district's renewal of workman compensation coverage for $12,259 as presented. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Support.
Any discussion?
So,
Has our workman's compensation cost gone up or down or stayed the same or what?
They typically will go up, it's based on your ratings and how many injuries you had in a year and that kind of stuff, so it's gone up a little bit, but not abnormally, so,
So we don't have a lot of people that are,
no, we haven't had a ton.
roll call vote.
Member Billsborough.
Yes.
Member Dean.
Yes.
Member Steele.
yes.
Member Frederick.
Yes.
Member Holbrook.
Yes.
Member Lyon Welch.
Yes.
Member Lake.
Yes, motion passes. Next, we have the recommendation to approve a working agreement with the Integrated Functional Support Group for the 2026-2027 school year. Be it resolved, the Board of Education approve to continue a working agreement with Integrated Functional Support Group for the 2026-2027 school year as presented. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Support.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next, we have the recommendation to approve the purchase of digital reader licenses. Be it resolved, the Board of Education approve the purchase of digital reader licenses from Learning Focused for Jefferson Elementary School in the amount of $5,320.48 to be funded through the Title 1A grant as presented. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Support.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next, we have a recommendation to approve purchase of materials for the new AP Business with Personal Finance course. It is recommended the Board of Education approve the purchase of instructional materials for the new AP Business with Personal Finance course at Coldwater High School for the 2026-2027 school year in the amount of $5,849.16. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Support.
Discussion?
So this is an advanced placement
Yes,
course?
yes.
So is there going to be the opportunity, like the other courses, that they can test out and get college credit?
Yes.
Okay.
Is there a regular, a non-AP course that has the same topic, or is?
I don't think so.
I don't think so yet.
Not yet.
I wish I had a finance course in high school.
Yeah, that's important.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next, we have the recommendation to approve 2 contract extensions with Calhoun Intermediate School District. Be it resolved that the Board of Education approve the 1-year Renaissance DNA contract extension and the 3-year Skyward Student Information System contract extension with Calhoun ISD as submitted. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Support.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next, we have the recommendation to approve 5-year program of study for early/middle college pupils. Be it resolved, the Board of Education approve the EMC 5-year program of study as presented. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Support.
Any discussion?
Yeah, can you get a little background on this? I guess I didn't.
We currently participate with the early middle college program, but this is just one of those things that every so often you have to renew the commitment to the
It's a
program.
new thing from the state where
Yeah.
now we have to have a board approved to do the EMC program.
This is not the 13th year?
Yes.
It is the
Oh, it
13th
is.
year?
Okay.
Is it only focused on mathematics, or this part is only focused on mathematics?
No, no.
You had to include
It's-
that in
yeah.
the statement to the board, the state, that the last year has to be in mathematics.
Yeah, because state legislation requires all students in their final year of high school to be enrolled in a mathematics course. So whether it's their 12th year or their 13th year in the, if it's the 13th year in the early and middle college program, they're required to be enrolled in a math class.
If they're in the 5th year, but
Right, in their final year of high school.
final year of high school, they have to take a math program?
Yep.
Are these the same students that graduate the year ahead? They
They
graduate.
It depends on the program that they're in, but they could graduate at the end of their 12th year.
Or their 13th year?
Right, correct.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next regular organizational meeting of the Coldwater Board of Education will take place July 6th, 2026 at 6 o'clock in the evening at the Administrative Service Center. We need a request for executive session under PA 267 to consider a periodic personnel evaluation of an employee. I need a motion.
So moved.
Support.
Roll call vote.
Member Frederick? Yes. Member Billsborough?
Yes.
Member Dean?
Yes.
Member Holbrook?
Yes.
Member Lyon Welch?
Yes.
Member Steele?
Yes.
Member Lake?
Yes. We are in executive session. Goodbye, all you people.